विनोद बिहारी जू की जाय। श्री गोविंद गोपीनाथ मदन मोहन जू की जाय। नित्य प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अशतर शतस्मर भक्ति वेदांत नारायण गोसाई महाराज श्री गुरुदेव की जाय। नित्य प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अशतर शतस्मर भक्ति वेदांत वामन गोसाई महाराज की जाय। नित्य प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अशतर शतस्मर भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्य प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अशतर शतस्मर भक्ति प्रज्ञान केशव गोसाई महाराज की जय। नित्य प्रविष्टम विष्णुपाद अशतर शतस्मर भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोसाई प्रभुपाद की जय। नित्य प्रविष्ट महाभागवत श्री गोक्षर बाबाजी महाराज की जय। नित्य प्रविष्ट श्री सच्चिदानंद भक्ति विनोद ठाकुर की जय। नित्य प्रविष्ट वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथ दास बाबाजी महाराज की जय। श्री रूपानुगौर्य गुरु वर्ग की जय। श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल दास रघुनाथ शारद गोसाई प्रभु की जय। श्री स्वरूप दामोदर राय रामानंदारी श्री गौर प्रसाद वृंद की जय। नाम चय श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासरी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री क्षेत्र मंडल गौर मंडल व्रज मंडल मथुरा वृंदावन धाम की जय। सर्व अभिष्ट प्रदात गिरिराज महाराज की जय। श्री राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड की जय। श्री यमुना देवी गंगा देवी की जय। श्री तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी की जय। श्री भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री पूर्णमासी योगमाया की जय। श्री गोपेश्वर महादेव की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद्-भागवतम की जय। 11th Canto की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। समागत गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। श्री निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय राधिकाय प्रियात्मने श्रीमद्भक्तिवेदान्त नारायणेति नामिने। नमो ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिसिद्धान्त सरस्वती श्रील भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवो विनेदुस्तं सर्वभूत हृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। शृण्वतं स्वकथा कृष्ण पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तना हृदन्तस्थो यभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत्सतम्। नष्टप्रयेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भगवतसेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। तवैवस्मि न जीवामि त्वया विना इति विज्ञाय राधे त्वां नायमं चरणन्तिकम्। भक्त्या विहीना अपराधलक्षाय क्षिप्ताष्टकामादितरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि त्वां शरणं प्रपन्ना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दम् भज श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासरि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Haribo, Indira Mataji, Bhavatarani Mataji, Nri Hari Prabhu, Pradumna Prabhu, Mantra Murthy Mataji, Ganga Mataji, and Gargaraj Ji. Dandavat Pranam, everybody. Alright, so yesterday we just read for maybe like 15 minutes or something. We read, or 10 minutes, the beginning of this first chapter. I'll just read the translations for the first 8 verses, which we read. Shri Shukadev Goswami said, Lord Shri Krishna, accompanied by Balaram and surrounded by the Yadu dynasty, executed the killing of many demons. Then, further to remove the burden of the earth, the Lord arranged for the great battle of Kurukshetra, which suddenly erupted in violence between the Kurus and the Pandavas. Because the sons of Pandu were enraged by the numerous offenses of their enemies, such as duplicitous gambling, verbal insults, the seizing of Draupadi's hair, and many other cruel transgressions, the Supreme Lord engaged those Pandavas as the immediate cause to execute his will. On the pretext of the battle of Kurukshetra, Lord Krishna arranged for all the kings who were burdening the earth to assemble with their armies on opposite sides of the battlefield. And when the Lord killed them through the agency of war, the earth was relieved of its burden. The Supreme Personality of Godhead used the Yadu dynasty, which was protected by his own arms, to eliminate the kings who, with their armies, had been the burden of this earth. When the unfathomable Lord thought to himself, although some may say that the earth's burden is now gone, in my opinion it is not yet gone, because there still remains the Yadav dynasty itself, whose strength is unbearable for the earth. Lord Krishna thought, no outside force could ever bring about the defeat of this family, the Yadu dynasty, whose members have all been fully surrendered to me and are unrestricted in their opulence. But if I inspire a quarrel within the dynasty, that quarrel will act just like a fire created from the friction of bamboo in a grove, and then I shall achieve my real purpose and return to my eternal abode. My dear King Parikshit, when the Supreme Almighty Lord, whose desire always comes to pass, had thus made up his mind, he withdrew his own family on the pretext of a curse spoken by an assembly of Brahmanas. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the reservoir of all beauty. All beautiful things emanate from him, and his personal form is so attractive that it steals the eyes away from all other objects, which then seem devoid of beauty in comparison to him. When Lord Krishna was on the earth, he attracted the eyes of all people. When Krishna spoke, his words attracted the minds of all who remembered them. By seeing the footsteps of Lord Krishna, the people became attracted to him, and thus they wanted to offer their bodily activities to the Lord as his followers. In this way, Krishna very easily spread his glories, which are sung throughout the world by the most sublime and essential Vedic verses. Lord Krishna considered that simply by hearing and chanting those glories, conditioned souls born in the future would cross beyond the darkness of ignorance. Being satisfied with this arrangement, he left for his desired destination. Okay, so now we come to this. Go away. Okay. Just checking the comments again. Haribol, Kishore. And Madhavi Didi, Dandavat Pranams. Wonder where Raseshwari Mataji is. One second, I just need to drink. Okay. Shirajuvacha Pramanyanam Vadanyanam Nityam Vrido Pasevinam Viprashapa Katam Abhur Vrishninam Krishna Chetasam. King Parikshit said, "How could the Brahmins curse who were always respectful to who were charitable, who were inclined to serve seniors, and whose minds were always absorbed in Krishna? Yanimita savai shapo yadrisho dvijasattama katam ekatmanam beda etat sarvam vadasvame." O purest of the twice born, was the motive for what was the motive for this curse? What and how could such a disagreement have arisen among the Yadus, who are all devotees of Krishna? Please tell me all these things. Sārārtha-darśīni commentary by Śrīla Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura. How could there be a quarrel causing their destruction among those with one mind? Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam uvacha Bibrarvapu sakala sundara sanivesha Karmacharan bhuvisu mangalamapta kama Astaya dhama ramamana udara kirti Sanghartumai chatakulam stitakritya shesha. Shukadeva Goswami said, possessing a body composed of the most beautiful objects, performing most auspicious acts in this world, enjoying while residing in Dwarka, and spreading his fame for the benefit of future generations, he desired to destroy his family after completing his mission, since three goals remains to be accomplished. Commentary. The Lord produced the curse through the Brahmins by his will, since he desired to disappear with the Vishnus after completing his intended work, making all men successful by showing his most attractive form, pastimes, and pleasures. His form is described. He had a body in which resided the beauty of all things. His actions are described. He performed most auspicious activities. Situated in his abode, such as Dwarka, he was enjoying with his dear wives. This describes his astonishing pleasure. All that he wanted to do was completed, was aptakama. He had the magnanimous fame, udara kirti, of giving prem to the people born in the future, since he was known for his form, pastimes, and pleasures. He then desired to destroy his family through the curse of Brahmins, since he had three remaining activities to perform. The devatas among the Yadus should be so these are the three activities he wanted to perform. The devatas among the Yadus should be re-established in Swarga. His portion should be re-established in Vaikuntha, Shvetadvip, Badarikashram, and other places. And he would disappear with his eternal associates from the eyes of materialistic people. Karmani punani vahani sumangalani Gayaj jagat kali malapaharani kritva Kalatmana nivasata yadudevadgehe Pindarakam samagaman munayo nrishrishta Vishwamitra sita kanvo Vishwamitra sita kanvo durvasa brigurangkira Kashyapo vamadevartrir Vashishto naradadaya. In the home of the chief of the Yadus, Vasudeva, the father of Lord Krishna, the sages Vishwamitra, Asita, Kanva, Durvasa, Bhrigu, Angira, Kashyapa, Vamadev, Atri, Vashishta, along with Narad and others, once performed rituals that award abundant pious results, which brings great happiness and takes away the sins of Kali Yuga for the whole world by being recounted. After Lord Krishna, who was staying in Vasudev's house as time personified, respectfully sent the sages off at the conclusion of the ceremonies, the sages went to the holy place called Pindaraka. Commentary. First, the Lord made arrangements for the curse to be made. After performing horse sacrifices, etc., the sages called for the sacrifice. After being given donations, they arrived at a holy place near Pindaraka. They were permitted to leave by Krishna, who is the personification of time. As time, he had a desire to destroy the dynasty. Kridantastanupavraja Kumaraya Dunandana Upasangrihya Paprachur Avinita Vinitavat Teveshayitva Striveshai Sambhang Jambhavati Sutam Esha Prichativo Vipra Antarvat Vatnyasitekshana Prashtum vilajati sakshat prabhuta mogadarshana prasoshyanti putra kama kingsvit sanjanayishyati. I just want to make sure every time this S with a dot under it means an N with a squiggly over it. Just want to, confirm. What verse is that? This is 15, right? Yes, see? It's a N with the squiggly over it. To that holy place, the young boys of the Yadu dynasty had brought Samba, the son of Jambavati, dressed in a woman's garb. Playfully approaching the great sages gathered there, the boys grabbed hold of the sages' feet and impudently asked them with feigned humility, "O learned Brahmins, this black-eyed, pregnant woman has something to ask you. She is too embarrassed to inquire for herself. She is just about to give birth and is very desirous of having a son. Since all of you are great sages with infallible vision, please tell us whether her child will be a boy or a girl." Commentary. Upasangrihya means they touch the sage's feet. Kingsvit means, will she bear a son or not? Evam pralabdha munayas tan uchu kupita nripa jana yishyativo manda mushalam kulanashanam. O king, thus put to a test, the sages became angry and told the boys, "Fools, she will bear you an iron club that will destroy your dynasty." Commentary. Pralabdha here means having their knowledge being put to a test. One second. Tachrutva te sisantrasta vimuchya sahasodaram sambasya dadrishushtasmin mushalam kalvayasmayam. Upon hearing the curse of the sages, the terrified boys quickly uncovered the belly of Samba, and indeed, they observed there an iron club. Kim kritam mandabhagyarna, kim kritam mandabhagyarna, kim vadishyantino. Jana iti vivalita gehan adaya mushalam yayu. Sorry, this is divided up strangely. Anyways. The young men of the Yadu dynasty said, "Oh, what have we done? We are so unfortunate. What will our family members say to us?" Speaking thus and being very disturbed, they returned to their homes, taking the club with them. Tachopaniya sadasi parimlana mukhashriya ragya avedayam chakru sarva yadavasannido. The Yadu boys, the luster of their faces completely faded, brought the club into the royal assembly, and in the presence of all the Yadavas, they told King Ugrasen what had happened. Commentary. They told Ugrasen, not Krishna. Shutva mogam viprashapam drishtva cha mushalam. Let me read it from here. Shutva mogam viprashapam drishtva cha mushalam nripa vismita bayasantrasta pabhuvur varakaukasa. O King Parikshit, when the inhabitants of Dwarka heard of the infallible curse of the Brahmanas and saw the club, they were astonished and distraught with fear. Haribo Rohit Radhakrishna ji and Raseshwari Mataji. Tachurnayitva mushalam yaduraja ahuka samudra salile prasyal loham chasya vasheshitam. After having the club ground to powder, Ugrasen, the king of the Yadus, threw the pieces along with the remaining lump of iron into the water of the ocean. Commentary. Ugrasen told everyone, "Do not have fear or shame." Without asking Krishna, he ground up the club. A small piece remained, which he thought was insignificant. He threw it in the water. Kaschin matsyo grasil loham churnani taralaistata uhyamana velayam lagnanyasan kilaikraka. A certain fish swallowed the iron lump, and the powdered iron carried back to the shore by the waves. It stuck there, and those iron, powdered iron, stuck there and grew into sharp canes. Commentary. Taralai means by waves. Matsyo, should I shut the window? I don't know. Matsyo grihita matsagnar jalena nanyai sahar nave tasyo daragatam loham sashalye lubthako karot. The fish was caught in the ocean along with other fish in a fisherman's net. The iron lump in the fish's stomach was taken by the hunter Jara, who fixed it as a head at the tip of his arrow. I'm gonna shut the door. Bhagavan gyata sarvartha ishvaropi taranyata kartum naichar viprashapam kalarupyanvamodata. Knowing fully the significance of all these events, the Supreme Lord, though capable of reversing the Brahmana's curse, did not wish to do so. Rather, in his form of time, he sanctions the events. Thus ends the commentary on the first chapter of the 11th Canto of the Bhagavatam for the pleasure of the devotees in accordance with the previous acharyas. Now we come to chapter 2. The teachings of Kavi and Havi. Shri Shuka Uvacha Govinda Bhujaguptayam Dvaravatyam Kurudvaha Avatsin Narado Bhikshnam Krishnopasana Lalasa. Shukadev Goswami said, O best of the Kurus, eager to engage in the worship of Krishna, Narad Muni stayed constantly in Dwarka, which was always protected by the arms of Govinda. Commentary. In the second chapter, Vasudeva asked Narad questions. In response to King Nimi's question, Kavi and Havi speak about Vaishnava principles. Narad stayed in Dwarka constantly. By the influence of Krishna, it could not be influenced by the curse of Daksha, and thus Narad could remain there, though cursed by Daksha to travel continuously. Konu Rajan Indriyavan Mukunda Charanam Bhujan Na Bhajet Sarvator Mrityur Upasyam Amarottamai. O King, who among the conditioned souls with senses confronted by death at every step of life would not render service to the lotus feet of Mukunda, who is worshipable even for the greatest devatas? Commentary. Who would not worship Krishna, since the Lord binds even liberated persons to him with eagerness? Persons with senses like ears are qualified for worshipping the Lord. Not only jivas worship the Lord, but even the best of devatas like Shiva worship him as well. Tam ekada tu devarshnim Vasudevo griha gatam Architam sukamasinam abhivadyedama bravit. One day, the sage among the devatas, Narad, came to the house of Vasudeva. After worshipping Narad, sitting him comfortably and respectfully bowing down to him, Vasudeva spoke as follows. Shri Vasudeva Uvacha Bhagavan Pavato Yatra Swastaye Sarvadehinam Kripananam Yata Pitror Uttama Shloka Vartmanam. Vasudeva said, O Lord, your visit, like that of a father to his children, is for the benefit of all living beings, for the most wretched among them, as well as for those who are worshipping the Lord. Commentary. You come for the benefit of ordinary beings, for the very low, and for the highest beings, the devotees, just as a father comes to help three types of children equally. This shows Narad's affection for all living entities. Bhutanam devacharitam dukhaya cha sukhaya cha sukhaya hi sadhunam tvadrisham achutatmanam. The activities of devatas lead to both misery and happiness for living beings. But the activities of great saints like you, who have accepted the infallible Lord as their very soul, result only in the happiness of all beings. Commentary. It is improper to compare the devotees with the devatas. Sometimes the devatas give too much rain, and in this way afflict the living beings. Bhajanti ye yata devan deva api tataiva chayeva karma sachiva sadhavo dinavatsala. Those who worship the devatas receive reciprocation from the devatas in a way corresponding to the offering. The devatas are attendants of karma, like a person's shadow, but devotees are affectionate to the fallen. Commentary. Just as a person acts, his shadow follows. Similarly, the devatas responds to acts of worship of the worshipper. The devatas follow the actions of the worshipper. Brahmans tatapi prichamo dharmam bhagavat. Let me read it from here. What verse is this? 7. Okay. Brahmans tatapi prichamo dharmam bhagavatang stava yan shrutva shraddhaya martyo muchyate sarvato bhayat. O Brahman, although I am satisfied simply by seeing you, I still wish to inquire about those duties which give pleasure to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Any mortal who faithfully hears about them is freed from all kinds of fear. Commentary. Though I am satisfied just with seeing you, I am asking, having heard Bhagavad Dharma, mortals, even without seeing you, are freed from all fears. This is astonishing. Aham kila puradnantam prajartho bhuvimuktidam apujayam namokshaya mohito devamayaya. In a previous birth on this earth, I worshipped the Supreme Lord Ananta, who alone can award liberation. But because I desired to have a child, I did not worship him for liberation, since I was bewildered by the Lord's illusory energy. A commentary. But you are successful, yes? I wanted a child, not liberation. Yata vichitra vyasanar pavarbir vishvato bhayat muchyema yanjasai vadha tatana shadhisu vrata. My dear Lord, true to your vow, please instruct me clearly so that by your mercy I may easily free myself from material existence, which is full of dangers. Commentary. Vishvato bhayat means from samsara. Shri Shuka uvacha Rajanevam krita prashno Vasudevena dhimata Pritastam ahadevarshir Hare samsmarito gunai. Shukadev Goswami said, O king, Narad was pleased by the questions of the highly intelligent Vasudev, which reminded Narad of Lord Krishna and his qualities. Thus, Narad replied to Vasudev as follows. Commentary. He remembered the Lord along with his qualities. There is a rule, adhig artha dayesham karmani, verbs indicating remembering, giving, pitying, protecting, moving, and ruling take the possessive case rather than the accusative. That's in Panini 2.352. Thus, Hare is in the possessive rather than the accusative case. Śrī-Narada uvacha Samyag etad vivasitam bhavata sattvatarshava yat prachase bhagavatam dharmangstvam vishvabhavanam. Narad said, O best of the sattvatas, you have quite correctly asked me about the eternal duty of the living entity toward the Supreme Lord, which purifies the whole universe. Shruto nu partito dhyata adrito vanumodita sadya punati sadharmo deva vishva druhopihi. Pure devotional service rendered to the Supreme Lord, consisting of hearing, chanting, meditating, accepting it with faith, or praising others who perform it, immediately purifies even those who are envious of the Lord and the universe. Tvaya paramakalyana punya shavana kirtana smarito bhagavan adya devo narayano mama. Today you have made me remember my Lord, the supremely blissful Narayan, who is so auspicious that whoever hears and chants about him becomes completely pure. Atrapyudaharantimam itihasam puratanam arshabhanam cha samvadam videhasya mahatmana. To explain the devotional service of the Lord, sages have related the ancient history of the conversation between the great soul King Videha and the sons of Rishabha. Priyavrato namasuto mano swayam bhuvasyaya tasyagni trastato nabhir rishabhastat sutta smrita. Swayambhuva Manu had a son named Maharaj Priyavrata, and among Priyavrata's sons was Agnidra. From Agnidra was born Nabhi, whose son was known as Rishabhadev. Commentary. The sons of Rishabha were mentioned in the previous verse. Who was Rishabha? This is now explained. Tam ahor vasudevangsham moksha dharma vivakshaya avatirnam suto shatam tasyasid brahma paragam. Rishabhadev is accepted as a portion of Vasudev, who appeared to propagate liberation. He had 100 sons, all perfect in Vedic knowledge. Tesham vai bharato jeshto narayana parayana vikyatam varshametadyan namna bharatam. Of the 100 sons of Lord Rishabhadev, the eldest, Bharata, was completely devoted to Lord Narayan. The famous Varsha became the astonishing Bharata Varsha because of his name. Sabhukta bhogam tyaktvemam nirgatas tapasa harim upasinas tatpadavim lebe vai janrinabhistribhi. King Bharata rejected this material world, considering all types of material pleasure temporary and useless. Leaving his house, he worshipped the Lord by severe austerities and attained the abode of the Lord after 3 lifetimes. Tesham nava dvipa patayosya samantata karma tantra pranetara ekashitir dijataya. 9 of the remaining sons of Rishabhadev became the rulers of the 9 islands of Bharatvarsha, and they exercised complete sovereignty over this planet. 81 sons became Brahmanas and helped initiate the Vedic path of karma. Commentary. Among the sons of Rishabha, 9 became rulers of 9 islands, such as Brahmavarta of Bharatvarsh. 81 sons became Brahmanas who started the path of karma. I think it says 80 sons became Brahmanas who started the path of karma. Okay. Nava bhavan mahabhaga munayo yarta shangsina shramana vatarasana atma vidya visharada kavir havir antariksha prabuddha pipalayana avirhotro tadrumilash chamasa karabhajana. The 9 remaining sons of Rishabha were greatly fortunate sages, discerning the highest truth, endeavoring for Paramatma, were learned concerning Paramatma. They wandered about naked. Their names were Kavi, Havir, Antariksha, Prabuddha, Pipalayan, Avihotra, Drumila, Chamasa, and Karabhajana. Commentary. They were discerners of the highest truth, making great endeavor for realizing the Atma, and they were completely naked. Ta ete bhagavan rupam vishvam sarasaratmakam atmano vyatirekena pashyanto vyacharan mahim. These sages wandered the earth while seeing the entire universe with all its gross and subtle objects as a manifestation of the Supreme Lord and as non-different from Paramatma. Commentary. Atmana means Paramatma. They saw the universe as identical with Paramatma since it is his Shakti. One second. Vyahateshta gataya surasiddhasadya Gandharva yaksha narakin naranagalokan Muktashcharanti municharana bhutanata Vidyadhara dijagavam bhuvanani kamam. The 9 Yogendras are liberated souls who travel unchecked to the planets of the Devatas, the perfected mystics, the Sadhyas, the heavenly musicians, the Yakshas, the human beings, and the Kinnaras and serpents. As they wish, they can travel as well to the worlds of the sages, the Charanas, the ghostly followers of Lord Shiva, the Vidyadharas, the Brahmanas, and the cows. Ta ekada nime satram upajagamor yadrichaya vitayamanam rishibhir ajanabe mahatmana. Once in Anjanaba, Bharatvarsha, they came upon the sacrificial performance of the great soul Maharaj Nimi, which was being carried out under the direction of sages. Tandrishtva surya sankashan mahabhagavatan nripa yajamano knayo vipra sarva evo patastire. My dear king, seeing those pure devotees of the Lord, seeing those pure devotees of the Lord who rival the sun in brilliance, everyone present, the performer of the sacrifice, the brahmanas, and even the sacrificial fires, stood in respect. Videhastana pipretya narayana parayanan preta sampujayam chakre asanastam yatarhata. King Nimi understood that the 9 sages were exalted devotees of Narayan. Therefore, overjoyed at their auspicious arrival, he offered them suitable sitting places and worshipped them in the proper way. Commentary. Yatarhata means properly. One second. Haribo Ladini Shakti Didi. Tanrochamanam Swarucha Brahmaputro Pamannava Papracha Paramaprita Prashraya Vanato Nripa. Overwhelmed by transcendental joy, the king humbly bowed his head and then proceeded to question the 9 sages who glowed by their own effulgence, and thus appeared equal to the 4 Kumaras, the sons of Lord Brahma. Videha uvacha Manye Bhagavata Shakshat Parshadam vo madhudvisha Vishnur bhutani lokanam pavanaya charantihi. King Nimi said, I think that you must be direct associates of the Supreme Lord, who is famous as the enemy of the demon Madhu. The pure devotees of Lord Vishnu wander throughout the universe to purify all the conditioned souls. Commentary. 2 verses describe how the king welcomed them. Why would the associates of Vishnu come here? The associates of Vishnu move about to purify the world with their mercy. Durlabo manusho deho dehinam kshana bangura tatrapi durlabam manye vaikunta priyadarshanam. This is a very famous verse. For the conditioned souls, the human body, which can be lost at any moment, is a rare opportunity for gaining liberation. But I think that even rarer than liberation is the association of pure devotees who are dear to the Lord of Vaikunta. What a beautiful verse, huh? Today I have seen my good fortune. Human birth is rare for attaining liberation. However, meeting the associates of the Lord is rarer because they bestow bhakti. Sorry, I think I need to stand up. 1 second. Okay, now I'm standing up. Okay. O sinless ones. Okay. Atta atyantikam shemam prichamo bhavato nagha samsaresmin kshanardopi satsanga sevadhirdranam. O sinless ones, therefore I ask you to kindly tell me what is most beneficial. Even half a moment's association with pure devotees within this world of birth and death is a treasure for any man. Commentary. The meaning is this. When a guest comes, one must ask about his welfare. But to inquire from Atmaramas, who are the very form of auspiciousness, this is inappropriate by its very nature. To ask about their health is a useless question. Therefore, one should ask about spiritual welfare only. O sinless ones, sins cannot exist in your presence. Just by your presence, you have destroyed all my sins. But there is a goal for which we should strive. I ask about that. This may be asked later. This may be asked later. What is the rush? Half a moment of the treasure of your association is valuable. If suddenly one attains this treasure, why should one delay in asking about the desired goal with enthusiasm? I have special good fortune because you are staying here for a long time. Dharmam Bhagavatam Brutva Yadina Shrutaye Kshamam Yai Prasanna Prapannaya Tasyatyaatmanamapyaja. Please speak about how one engages in the devotional service of the Supreme Lord if you consider me capable of properly hearing these topics. When a living entity offers loving service to the Supreme Lord, the Lord is immediately satisfied, and in return, he gives himself to the surrendered soul. Commentary. Then ask what you desire. This verse explains the request. If we have ears qualified for hearing about these topics, then you should speak. You should speak the very essence of those topics by which the Lord is satisfied and gives himself. Shri Narada Uvacha Evam te nimina prishta Vasudeva Mahatmana Pratipuja Bruvam Pritya Sasadasyartvijam Nripam. Narad said, O Vasudev, when Maharaj Nimi had inquired from the 9 Yogendras about devotional service to the Lord, those best of saintly persons sincerely thanked the king for his questions, and with affection he spoke to him in the presence of the priests and the members of the sacrificial assembly. Shri Kavir Uvacha Manye kutaschir Bhayamachutasya Padam Pujo Pasanamatra Nityam Udvigna Buddhir Asaratma Bhavar Vishvatmana Yatra Nivartate Bhi. Kavi said, for one whose intelligence is disturbed by his falsely identifying himself with the temporary material world, I consider that worship of the Lord's lotus feet, which produces fearlessness from the material world, is the highest goal, because Paramatma destroys all fears by that worship. Commentary. O king, I see that all dharmas have an element of fear, but bhakti gives fearlessness. I consider the highest goal to be bhakti, by performing which one becomes free of fear of time, karma, and other obstacles. The chief qualification is mentioned. A person is disturbed by his thoughts of body and family, which are difficult to give up. This means he must desire to give up attachments to the body, house, and other objects which are unfavorable for bhakti. When one performs that worship, fear is destroyed by the Paramatma. Yevai Bhagavata Prokta Upaya Yatma Labdhaye Anja Pungsam Avidusham Vidhi Bhagavatam Hitan. Oh, this is a very famous verse also. Yeah. Yeah, ma'am. Oh, sorry. Even ignorant living entities can... Even ignorant living entities can very easily come to know the Supreme Lord if they adopt those means prescribed by the Supreme Lord. The process recommended by the Lord is known as Bhagavat Dharma. Commentary. The characteristics of Bhagavat Dharma are described. Varnashram was spoken by Manu and others, but because bhakti is most secret, the Lord himself speaks it. Know that the method to quickly attain one's benefit, Atma Labdhaye, even for ignorant persons, to be Bhagavat Dharma. Okay, I'll end with this verse. Yan astaya naro rajan na pramadyeta karhichit dhavan nimilyava netre na skale na pateriha. These are all very famous verses. O king, one who accepts this process of devotional service will never be affected by pride. Even while running with eyes closed, he will never trip or fall. Commentary. The power of the process is explained. Taking shelter of bhakti, having faith, asta means faith, just having faith in the process, what to speak of performing it? Just having faith in the process, a person will never be strongly affected by pride. In karma or yoga, the practitioner becomes proud. Or pramadyeta can mean he never becomes inattentive. That means the obstacles cannot overpower him. Moreover, taking shelter of bhakti, whether having his eyes open or closed, while running, the person does not stumble or fall. Someone may offer an easy process and say, "Run with your eyes closed using the method taught by me." But do not have any doubt. Running means moving by putting a foot forward and placing it on the earth. One may stumble by going a little, and more likely one will fall by moving longer. But if one performs a little or a lot of one anga among all the angas of bhakti, there is no loss, as there is in karma. One will not lose the results by performing only one anga for a short period. Though one is ignorant at present, closing the eyes, if one performs bhakti without awareness, it is not a fault. What to speak then of performing bhakti with awareness? Not performing even one anga, however, is a fault, since it was said that one should have faith in bhakti. Acting in such a way, one will fall from the correct path. To follow another path to attain the Lord is a big fault. Oh, I forgot. Seshwari Mataji needs to leave now. Anyways, I'm almost done with this. Shruti smriti puranari pancharatram viding vina akantiki harer bhaktir upatayaiva kalpate. Even if a person seems to have attained steadiness in practicing pure bhakti to the Lord, that bhakti is a misfortune. If it rejects the rules of Shruti, Smriti, Purana, Pancharatra out of atheism. The Brahma Yamala, that's from the Brahma Yamala. The person who has begun bhakti is no longer qualified for varnashram. In performing bhakti, there is no consideration of whether one has performed those duties or not. The Lord says, Tavat karmani kurvita na nirvidyeta dyavata mat katha shravanadova shraddha yavan najayate. One should continue to perform the Vedic ritualistic activities only until one becomes detached from material sense gratification and develops faith for hearing and chanting about me. In this chapter later, verse 37, it is said, Bhaktya kayesham gurudeva tatma. The word ekaya, modifying bhaktya, indicates that karma mishra and other types of bhakti are also rejected. Okay, so we end here. We end here. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Jai Shishi Guru Gauranga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai. Shri Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai. Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatarashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Gosai Maharaj Shila Gurudeva Ki Jai. Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatarashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosai Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatarashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatarashata Shishmar Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityalla Pravishtam Vishnupad Ashatarashata Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nityalla Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Srila Gorkishoras Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityalla Pravishta Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Ṭhākura Ki Jai. Nityalla Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Gaudiya Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath, Sharda Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari, Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Ṭhākura Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala, Gaura Mandala, Vraja Mandala, Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kund Ki Jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya Ki Jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Nitai Grantaraj Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Ki Jai. Shri Viśvanātha Cakravartī Ṭhākura Ki Jai. Sārārtha-darśīni Commentary Ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Vrindaya Tulsi Devaya Priyaya Keshavashacha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat Pranams Indira Mataji and everybody else watching right now. Hare Krishna. Alright, I'll see you all tomorrow.